Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Today I'm bringing you a detailed story about Yaman and Demet Özdemir, two stars whose names have long been linked by both undeniable screen chemistry and a swirl of rumors. If you enjoy this long-form deep dive, please remember to like the video and subscribe. You can also support the channel by clicking the join button below. Thank you, and let's get into it. The starting point is simple, and yet it has sent shockwaves through fan communities. Demet Özdemir's father has, according to people close to the family, delivered a clear message to Yaman. It was not a tabloid rant, not a dramatic public confrontation, and certainly not a press conference. It was, rather, the kind of private intervention a protective parent makes when they believe the stakes are personal, high, and worth speaking up about. That is the core of what's being discussed. Everything else, dates, locations, exact sentences, is the fog of speculation that rises whenever two of the most followed celebrities in Turkey are involved. To understand why this moment matters, you have to rewind to the nexus where admiration, rumor, and reality intersect. Yaman's trajectory from local heartthrob to international leading man has been fueled by charm, work ethic, and a global fan base that can fill airport halls with cheers. Demet Özdemir's ascent has been just as impressive, a performer praised for her comic timing, emotional honesty, and a grounded presence that makes every scene feel immediate. Together, they forged a partnership that audiences still talk about in present tense, as if the scenes never ended. It is that shared history that turns even a whisper, like a father's private warning, into headline oxygen. Here is how the story is being told by those around the situation. Over recent months, the two actors have been seen at overlapping events, not as a couple, but within the same artistic circles. A gala here, a charity there, a workshop rumored to be scouting talent for a new prestige series. Side-by-side interviews never happened, but parallel comments did. Kim praised discipline and kindness when asked about the ideal set partner. Demet spoke of boundaries and balance when reflecting on the cost of fame. Each statement could be generic, yes, but together they sounded like two halves of the same thought. Around this time, Demet's father entered the conversation, not on social media, not through a manager, but in the way families have always communicated, directly. People close to the matter describe a phone call first, concise and calm, followed by a meeting request handled with deliberate discretion. The aim was not to create a scene, it was to draw a line. The tone, according to these accounts, wasn't hostile. It was measured. Protective, yes, accusatory, no. He reportedly spoke of his daughter's hard-won peace, of how public attention can tilt a private life off its axis, and of what he expects from anyone who wishes to stand close to her while the cameras roll and, more importantly, when they are off. The question most fans have is simple: why now? Why would Demet's father feel compelled to speak at this moment? The answer likely lies in the rhythm of modern celebrity. In a landscape where a casual photo can spark a week-long media cycle, a single ambiguity can snowball. Recent weeks brought a cluster of ambiguous signals, matching song choices and stories, overlapping travel windows, and a small controversy over a restaurant sighting that produced no clear images, just precise descriptions of jackets and hats. For supportive families, ambiguity can feel like turbulence. Wise parents try to smooth the air before the plane hits a storm. There is also an artistic angle. Both actors are at crucial junctures. Ken has been juggling international opportunities with a desire, voiced more than once, to keep his roots strong. Demet has curated her choices carefully, favoring roles that allow her to expand her range rather than repeat it. A return to a sustained, high-profile partnership, if mishandled, could eclipse their separate growth. A return handled well could produce the best work of their careers. From a parent's point of view, that is exactly when standards should be clearest. What might those standards be? Based on the language people around Demet's family use, three themes emerge. First, pace. The father reportedly emphasized that any renewed closeness, personal or professional, should move at a speed set by trust, not trending topics. That means fewer accidental leaks, fewer coded posts, and more adult choices made in rooms without microphones. It means declining the dopamine rush of instant confirmation and accepting the slower satisfaction of something built to last. Second, respect. Respect for Demet's time, for her commitments, and for the network of people who rely on her stability. Respect for the craft as well, rehearsal over rumor, performance over publicity. It is an old-fashioned view that somehow still feels radical in the content era. Third, clarity. If a collaboration is on the table, say so when it is real. If a friendship is the accurate label, own that without coyness. What fans handle poorly is not distance, it's confusion. The father's position, as relayed, is that ambiguity is exhausting for everyone involved, especially for the person who has to shoulder the speculation most directly, his daughter. How did Kim respond? Here the accounts converge in striking ways. Whatever his private feelings, he reportedly listened. Those present describe him as thoughtful, not reactive, quiet, not defensive. He asked questions about what a healthy boundary looks like in practice, when to step forward, when to step back, how to avoid feeding the rumor machine without appearing cold or evasive. No one claims a dramatic vow or a sweeping promise. What they do describe is a man aware of both his influence and his responsibility, a man who understands that charm is not a substitute for care. And Demet? She is said to have appreciated two things above all, that her father chose a private channel rather than a public spectacle, and that Kim met the moment with maturity. Those close to her describe a woman determined to protect the serenity she has built, work she loves, friendships she trusts, and a home life that functions even when the headlines do not. Protectiveness and autonomy can coexist. This was a demonstration of that balance. Meanwhile, the public did what the public always does, read tea leaves. An ordinary caption about choosing the long road became evidence of a pact. A behind-the-scenes photo with a neutral backdrop turned into alleged proof that both were in the same studio. Even a florist's quickly edited tag became a clue in a sprawling internet detective novel. Fan debates split along familiar lines, romantics versus pragmatists, the announce it already crowd versus the let them breathe camp. The irony is that both sides are powered by the same thing. An investment in two artists who once created something that made people feel seen. So where does this leave the possibility of a reunion, on screen or off? If you study the pattern, one conclusion stands out. Whatever happens next will not be engineered by panic. If a project emerges, it will be something that asks more of them than nostalgia can give, a story that requires patience, a tone that rewards restraint, a craft-first framework less concerned with recreating old sparks and more interested in lighting a new fire. If instead the path forward is friendship, it will be the kind of friendship that survives precisely because it refused to become content.